The government's tax changes are being welcomed as a step towards simplifying the tax system. But Scott Morrison's long-term plans are seen by some as unfair. Here's finance correspondent Philip Lasker.
Aged care worker Kate Thomas has to watch the family budget with 3 children who are students. Conditions are difficult.
Difficult enough that I'm thinking about selling the house. I've been talking to the real estate agent already, and this budget won't improve that at all.
She's dismissing the government's tax cuts.
$300 cut in my income tax for the year, which is not even enough to pay the electricity bill, so no, I'm not celebrating.
The Taxation Institute's Robert Deutsch sees some benefits.
And at the moment we have 5 brackets of income tax. This will simplify it in the sense of bringing it down to 4 brackets. So to that extent, I think this is a good move.
The changes, costing $140 billion over 10 years, become more profound over time. From this July, if you're earning between $87,000 to $90,000, you'll get a tax cut. Then, in 2022, a person earning up to $41,000 won't pay more than 19% tax. If you're earning up to $120,000, the top tax rate will be 32.5%. 2 years later, the 37% bracket will be abolished, and everyone earning between $41,000 and $200,000 will pay the same rate. It means a massive 73% of the workforce will be in the 32.5% tax bracket.
People who are on relatively small incomes and people who are on pretty substantial incomes having the same marginal tax rate. That seems to me to be a little bit unfair.
When you've got less than a quarter of the tax-paying population paying 2/3 of the tax in this country, I'd say we have a very progressive system and we're retaining that.
Certainly, Kate Thomas feels hard done by.
It seems to me that's benefiting the higher income earners more than it is the rest of us.
Middle income earners who benefit from the double whammy of changing thresholds and tax rebates are undoubtedly the government's short-term targets.
Well, clearly the biggest winners immediately are going to be people earning income up to $90,000, particularly people in that bracket from about $50,000 to $90,000.
The kind of people a government might need to swing an election result their way. Philip Lasker, ABC News.
Taxpayers weren't the only ones to benefit in the budget. Pensioners will be able to earn more money without it affecting their payments. And there'll be an increase for mental health funding, focusing on suicide prevention, research and older Australians. Among the losers, the black economy. The government will limit cash payments for goods and services to $10,000. There'll be a crackdown on welfare recipients through data matching to claw back debts. And the waiting period for newly arrived migrants for some welfare will be extended to 4 years. Political editor Andrew Probyn is in Canberra. Andrew, it's been such an unusual collision of events in Canberra today.
It has. Look, coming the day after the budget and after 7 weeks of parliamentary break, the High Court's timing is delicious or malicious. Now, it was such a hardline ruling that 4 MPs, including 3 Labor MPs, had no option but to resign. Now, neither party will be particularly happy at the prospect of a very expensive Super Saturday of by-elections. They would rather save their money for the federal election, which could be as early as the second half of this year. Yeah,
well, last week's resignation of WA MP Tim Hammond means there'll be 5 by-elections next month. How will the major parties approach them?
Well, we've never had so many by-elections on one day. The previous record is 3, and that was set in 1984. So this will be a bit of a mini-election in 4 different states. But it'll also be a referendum on the budget, and it will also be a referendum on the rival tax plan presented by Labor, which Bill Shorten will outline in his budget reply speech tomorrow. But regardless of what happens in these by-elections, government won't fall. And what could fall, or what could change, is the complexion of the tax debate in Australia.
All right, Andrew Probyn, thank you so much for your time.